Matt Winkler joins us, the founder of Bloomberg News way back in the day. He's got a column that I've been waiting for him to write because I'm a huge fan of San Francisco, as I've said many times, and I'm sad that it's on some tough times. And I haven't been there recently, but just kind of what you read and see and all that kind of stuff. Matt's got some analysis that says maybe it's not that bad. Matt, what did you find when you went out to San Francisco? What do the numbers tell you about one of my great favorite cities, San Francisco?
So I have to thank my wonderful colleague Shinpei for this, because we talked about San Francisco and what we decided to do, and he did specifically, is compare the 10 largest companies, publicly traded companies, in the 10 largest cities of America. And of course, San Francisco is not one of the 10 largest cities. It's number 17 with a population of maybe 850,000. The 10 companies that are publicly traded that are 1 to 10 in San Francisco literally outperform by employee growth and sales growth over 5 years, all the way through 2025, the top 10 cities of America. So if things are bad in San Francisco, the business of San Francisco, the business people of San Francisco are thriving. And you can't, have two narratives like that at the same time. Something has to give.
But are these companies hiring the people there specifically?
Employee growth within the city limits.
Within the city limits.
Yeah. Totally outperform Chicago, New York, Dallas, Houston, every city except, by the way, close number two is Los Angeles. Okay?
Yeah. Well, that's that's your bullish California call that you've been making for a long time.
And that's another column.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But San Francisco is, in fact, a 21st century economy as measured by the companies that it keeps. And I say keeps, I mean, whether it's Visa, which is a financial company, or Airbnb or Salesforce, to name three. Airbnb and Salesforce right now are outperforming their global peers in market capitalization, sales growth, employee growth.
I know you spoke to the mayor of the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed. I mean, he's been there since she's been there since 2018. So the good, the bad, and kind of where we're going now. What is her outlook?
Well, it's what you would expect it to be. She's bullish. I mean, and listen, London Breed is really exceptional in the sense that this is somebody who grew up literally in the worst part of San Francisco and was raised by her grandmother and is, a success story in her own right. And when she talks about San Francisco, she's very confident because guess who she talks to? She talks to the CEOs. And not a one of those 10 companies that we're talking about have any intention of picking up and leaving. And the fact that they're outperforming their peers in bigger cities, coast to coast, north to south, east to west in the United States of America tells you something about San Francisco, which is probably why you like it so much.
I do. And commercial real estate. Talk to us about the vacancy there versus other cities, because I guess the reporting suggests that it's
you've got vacancy rates that are maybe not as high as San Francisco, but close enough in lots of places, whether it's in Texas, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Illinois. Literally all across America, you've got, coming out of COVID-19, vacancy rates. Bloomberg News reported not too long ago that trend actually has gone favorable in the sense that the worst is over and there's a rebound underway. So you would expect, by the way, that to happen because more people are going to come back to work, even at Bloomberg. We're
return to office.
The owner has already told us that it's going to be a 4-day week at least in the office.
And our San Francisco office is awesome, by the way. It's built on one of those piers out into the San Francisco Bay. So again, kudos to our office people.
Well, to that end, so I actually was there for a reporting trip, I think 2017, 2018. I had gone as a child, and then I returned in early 2021, April 2021, I believe. And it was 2022, April 2022. It was pretty grim. Saw crime, saw overdose, the whole 9 yards. Okay. How you've spoken with London Breed? What's the path forward from here? And does this really stand the potential? I mean, you see all these companies hiring and whatnot, but what do the executives say about how they're making people want to live in San Francisco?
Well, the executives are very confident about their businesses because they talk about them from quarter to quarter to analysts and their shareholders. But I think what's more meaningful, and London Breed did reference this, is not too long ago, last month in fact, what used to be called the Grateful Dead had a concert in San Francisco. It was sold out. Oracle was sold out. 120,000 people over 3 days into downtown San Francisco. And everybody had a great time, and it poured more than $30 million into the San Francisco economy. That's not a dystopia.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I mean, but do you see the change coming? I think there's specifically some rules about theft and burglaries resulting in misdemeanors rather than felonies, and this sort of encourages some
that's
degree
a
of
California
crime.
law. And there are some moves to change the law. There's a California law that actually makes it too often, you could say, a misdemeanor for breaking and entering or for burglary and theft. Whereas in other cities, it's easily a felony. Now, that happens to be, if you like, an idiosyncrasy of California, and it's particularly acute in San Francisco, but that can be changed. Actually, the crime rate in San Francisco, violent crime rate, is way below most major cities. It's near the bottom, actually, among major cities. So that's a better indicator of really quality of life in San Francisco, I think.
One of the challenges for the San Francisco and the Bay Area in general historically was the cost of housing, the cost of living. Where are we in that regard now? Has there been an adjustment, or is that just California?
Everybody, especially London Breed, will be the ones to say they've hired more people over the years than they had housing for, and that it needs to be that inequality needs to be rectified. And it's actually being led at the state level by the governor himself to create housing, particularly public housing, in lots of places that historically have resisted it for local reasons. And the state is likely to circumvent those local restrictions once and for all so that you can have a big increase in housing, belatedly.
One of the stories I saw, Matt, corporate conferences. San Francisco has historically been a great conference town because it's such a great town. Even that's taken a knock over the last several years.
Well, there's going to be an Asia-Pacific summit in San Francisco.
That's right.
It's going to be a pretty big deal. Yep. And all the CEOs in San Francisco are going to be part of that Asia-Pacific summit because those companies are very much part of the global and, dare I say, Asia-Pacific economy.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a stickiness to this, and then maybe negativity around San Francisco.
I just kind of feel like,
you see this data coming back. You see some of this data. How long does it take to sink in? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, all I know is that there's a ton of engineers there. You always need engineers. Matt Winkler, thanks so much for joining us. Matt Winkler is the editor-in-chief emeritus and the founder of Bloomberg News. Great columns. Shinpei, his man there with all the data, and they bring it.